I don't know that there is a structure to it.
It's just a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that like we've had people reach out and say, I don't have friends in my life that watch wrestling, so you're my friends who I sit and listen to.
How many times can you see New Japan? I mean, Christ, they got 1,000 shows a day going on right now. And they come to your fucking town, they're like, pay us $150. Like, motherfucker, I just watched you guys for like 2 years climaxing all over the place.
I love that you act like you're so put out, like you watch the regular schedule.
Listeners, the Triple W Universe, I have an announcement that this is going to be my last episode of the We Watch Wrestling podcast. Next week, they're going to have the live ones from the weekend, but this is my final episode of the show.
Well, at the beginning, it was like every other wrestling podcast that I was aware of was either news and rumors, reviewing Raw, here's what happened, seg by seg, or just like really raunchy, crude humor and like shitting on everything.
Hey, Tom.
I love it.
Vince loves it.
Not only do I love it, my dentist loves it. I told you.
Isaac Yankem DDS.
What is that?
That's Kane's old gimmick when he was a crazy dentist.
Oh, okay. You've said that several weeks, and I'm like, is that from Mad Magazine?
He's still teachable.
I was moving out to LA. Matt had already been here for going on a year, I think, right? Or pretty close.
Something like that. Tom called me up and he's like, do you want to do a podcast? I was like, sure. And he's like, do you want to like talk about conspiracy theories or something? And I was like, I don't know if I could keep that up every week, I mean, I think they're fun, but I mean, I could see a wall running out of conspiracy theories real quick. And I was like, honestly, I think the only thing I could talk about every single week would be pro wrestling. And Tom was just like, all right, let's do a pro wrestling podcast. We could do that. I was like, all right.
I remember you like saying like, well, the only way I'll do it is if Vince will do it. But I remember being like, okay, let's do it. Let's, and then we did it. And here we are 5 years later.
Yeah, I mean, from the first issue on, it was like, even the way that the show opens. I just did that in the moment. I think we've gone out of our way to make sure, to let it be known, like, there's a lot of dumbasses that go to wrestling shows, and we want nothing to do with them.
Listen, Friday, we got a big day.
Huge.
Sibley, what are you doing to prepare, man? I hope that you are eating regularly. I hope you're sleeping.
I did a 24-hour fast.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Why?
I went to a baby shower on Sunday, and I had like 4 pieces of cake.
You had 4 pieces of cake?
Yeah, my friend is like a professional baker, so she makes these like great cakes, and it's like I have to try them all. I can't not. So at 3:30, I was done eating.
I was done eating. I look around the room. The children are all crying because there's no more cake.
My face was covered in cake. I'm like, why are you crying? Can I be honest about Friday?
You hate it.
I'm dreading Friday.
Yeah.
I am so excited about the weekend every day after Friday.
Today's Friday.
Yeah. I'm dreading tonight. Should I just do that? I'm dreading tonight. I am absolutely dreading tonight, but I'm doing some work on that. But outside of that, I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the weekend.
The comedy single about being a wrestling fan was born out of the podcast. It became very early on in the show, in the run of the show. It was like, it felt like I was taking up the charge to defend being a wrestling fan.
The more common, simpler arguments you face as a pro wrestling fan, things like, oh, it's fake, it's gay, it was better when I was 12. I'll address those one at a time. But again, if you can just shut it down quickly, shut it down quickly. Like, you're fake, you're gay, you were better when you were 12. Everything on TV is fake. Every TV show you've ever seen is fake. Every fucking movie you've ever seen is fake. Every document, especially documentaries, are fake. Every play you've ever seen is fake. Every play that you've ever read in high school is fake. Every play that Shakespeare ever wrote is fake. Shakespeare is fake!
I think the first time
You know?
that we realized that there were people listening was when Matt was like, "Oh man, I wish I could get one of these New Japan tracksuits." Long before any of that shit was in English, and the next thing we knew, people had like GoFunded 3 tracksuits for us.
Right. This is years ago. You could only order it off of the Japanese New Japan website. So then we had somebody who spoke Japanese that like translated it all, and then gave us a blow-by-blow of how to fill out the form, because then they don't ship directly to America. You have to go through a third-party shipping company to have them ship it. It was this whole thing.
There are a number of photos of us in them when we went to a Ring of Honor show in Las Vegas right before my wedding, you and I.
Right.
And it was the first time, or it felt like the first time, like they had brought over a bunch of New Japan guys. They hadn't done any New Japan shows here yet or anything. And Matt and I just fucking wore the suits. Yet again, though, we get fucking stoned. We're walking around, and then Prince Nana's going, "Hey,
Yeah.
like these are New Japan wrestlers. And you guys want to go backstage?" And we're going, "Will you fucking leave us alone?
like,
We don't want to
no.
get beat up."
No, I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, they're going to think we're making fun of them, that we think we're wrestlers, they're going to beat us up. Oh my God. Terrified. He kept being like, come backstage. I'm like, we were like, no.
But we ended up,
No.
we were on New Japan World, and when we met
Right.
Tanahashi, he was like, "Oh, where'd you get these suits at?"
Where'd you get these? But like, again, in our paranoid minds, it was like, as if he was going to, where did you get these,
Yeah.
you know?
Rip it
But
off.
no, they all thought it was super cool. All the New Japan guys loved it. I mean, it's again, you know, just word that everyone hates you. There's around like 20,000 people who listen every week. And I remember once, to put it into context, we were in a sold out show at the Staples Center. And I was like, take a look around. This is about the number of people who listen every week. And it was like, oh, holy shit.
I've listened to We Watch Wrestling from the jump since 5 years. I remember looking for podcasts to listen to, and I see that, oh, Matt McCarthy has a podcast. Wednesdays have always been the greatest day of the week because We Watch Wrestling drops on Wednesdays.
And then the way that we closed the show was just very quickly, it was like, oh, well, before we wrap up, who's your favorite wrestler? And then I think Tom was like, oh, we should do that every time. So who's your favorite wrestler?
Oh, I don't watch this fake crap.
Drive-thrus are perfect because they're held hostage. People will get lucky, we'll get some answers. Sometimes people don't know what you're talking about, and I kind of have to press a little bit. But hey, who's your favorite wrestler?
Favorite wrestler?
Yeah.
John Cena.
Thank you.
Nice.
Hey, who's your favorite wrestler?
I meet some music and that.
So like Elias? I have to try really hard not to get angry in those moments. Hey, who's your favorite wrestler? I'm not wasting your time, you're wasting my time. Hey, who's your favorite wrestler?
No favorite. Sorry. Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, you too. Oh, am I bothering you at your job? This is my job. She's got the problem, not me. Rolling up the Taco Bell, eating a double quarter. Why did she call it a quarter pounder? Because that's what I like about our show. We don't just do just one thing. It's so free-form, stream of consciousness. It's just fun. It's funny. It's just a conversation, you know? Hey, who's your favorite wrestler?
I'll say The Rock.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I love places like Stone Cold too.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, he's really crazy. Have you ever gone to one of those shows?
I'm going tonight.
Oh, how much is the ticket?
I don't know. I'm sure you could find one pretty cheap on the secondary market.
I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up. Oh, good.
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, you made my night.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, man. The Joey Janela LA Confidential show was fantastic.
The best of times and the worst of times for me.
I don't know how Joey does it. He's really tapped into something fantastic about pro wrestling, the shows he puts together. And there's a mix of names from the past and up-and-comers, which is not that unusual for an indie show, but there's just something about the atmosphere. it's just like hand in your mouth, you know?
I had gone to, shows in the late 90s and shit, 2000s even probably, where, you don't want to breathe that shit in. And as soon as I was like, here come a bunch of light tubes, and I was already just kind of uncomfortable around, the match itself, partially because of the violent element of it, whatever, the deathmatch style, but also that David Arquette just like kept diving out of the ring and catching his feet and going straight to the floor. So I'm just like, none of this is really working for me. So with light tubes, I'm not going to breathe in the mercury. So I'm just going to go down and watch the rest from by the bathroom.
I said, I'm out of here. I'm gone, just up and gone,
It had a real dark energy to it from the start. There was a bad vibe, and it ended with an actual celebrity getting stabbed in the neck with a light tube. I don't know why we come to these things.
As soon as Gage came out with the light tubes, I was like, I walked away and out the door.
Cut to the video.
I ran. Vince got up and got right the fuck out of there as soon as they had light tubes, and I haven't made it this far in life not following Vince. So as soon as he got the fuck out of there, I was like, I'm going with Vince. I don't know where he's going, but I'm going.
And it's just pro wrestlers that we see on other shows.
Fighting in a bar.
Just fighting with no ring. Just doing pro wrestling, the wall, the bar, the pool tables, like it's all game. The rafters at times.
Yeah.
Usually we're in a position where we can see a lot. This time, because of how it was set up to announce the previous show, because it was in the same room, right? They took the ring down and then Suburban Fight started. So we were on the floor, so we saw very little of the entire show, but we still called it.
It's carnage. It's bedlam. It's absolute mayhem. I don't know where this door came from. I think that is literally the front door of the hi-hat has been ripped from its hinges. Oh, God. I didn't have to see that one to know that was devastating.
How many doors closing? No windows seem to be opening. It's feeling a bit claustrophobic.
Sounds like a personal problem.
It has it's been 5 years of this is such a huge part of who we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friendships, full-on friendships with people now who started out as listeners of the show.
Just this show has become such a part of who I am. I don't know.
Are you all better friends having done the podcast?
No.